Another one bites the dust.
If you're a trade customer or have an accounts query, press 1.
The door latch of my cooker was broken, but before I repaired it myself, I wanted to find out how much it would cost to have it done professionally. So I called the manufacturer and followed the menu to reach their authorized repair agent. What you're about to hear is a real conversation. All personal information has been removed. This is the part that's relevant before I undertake the repair myself.
Hello, good afternoon, Bruce Repair Tech. How may I help?
Oh, good afternoon. I've actually got a Range Master. I've got the serial number in front of me. I'm inquiring about the cost of a repair, please.
Okay, what's your name, sir? And that there's the classic DL110 induction.
It is indeed.
Okay, and the appliance is just shy of 13 years old.
Very good, yeah.
And is the problem itself concerning the induction hob, or?
No, actually the problem is mechanical, and the door on the right hand side of the unit doesn't close properly unless we have to lift it and then shut it. I suspect, having looked at it, it's the little latch, which is the roller attached to the door, and it seems to be not functioning properly, and it doesn't actually latch onto the little pin that is on the frame of the appliance.
Okay, no problem. Have you had this appliance serviced before?
No.
No. I would recommend a service to you. It wouldn't cost you too much more than an engineer to come out with the part you need and replace it for you. A full service is £255, which includes VAT and would be a full mechanical and functional check over of the appliance, which would include the hobs, the timer, elements, electrodes, thermocouples, everything top to bottom will be checked. You'll be left with a service sheet and a specialist sign-off, and if there are any other actual faults with it, we'll also pick up on that as well. That's £255, and I think considering that a one-off engineer labour to come out and fit a particular part is £180 before we even quote for the part and the post. That's usually the best value for money.
Okay, and the service is £255. Would that mean that if they pick something else which is wrong, they would also fix it at the same time?
If parts are required for a repair, then that will be quoted on a return visit basis.
Okay.
Parts will need to be ordered in. But the only parts the engineer will fit as part of the service are the service kit parts that we send out free of charge, and that is the perishable parts on each of the doors.
Okay.
So this is why I recommend a service. They would change the hinges, the catches, and the door seals as standard.
That's very good. One couple more questions. You've been really helpful. If I wanted to be just not service, but just pay for the part itself, the hinge, the latch, what would the cost be? It sounds like £180 plus whatever the part is. Is that correct, or?
Yeah, plus the VAT and the postage to get it to the engineer.
Okay. So
let's have a quick look on.
because you quoted 255 inclusive of VAT. If I have it serviced, I understand they would also fix the latch. But what if I just wanted the latch to be fixed?
Okay, so without any service at all, £205.92.
Okay, so that is
That's £49 more expensive for the full service.
I understand, okay. Okay, the only thing I'm interested at the moment is the little latch, because that's the thing that actually is preventing me from using the stove properly. So without obviously having to lift the door every time, which is annoying. So if you just send me that quote, and also you mentioned that the difference is about £49 more expensive should I have it serviced. I understand that, but that would be including other stuff. That would be enough, please.
Yeah, that's a fair summary. I'll get that email sent over to you. If you give me 5 minutes, sir, I'll just readjust it back to the catch, and I will email it to you.
That's very kind. Thank you very much for your help. You've been really helpful.
Yeah. You're welcome, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you, and you. Bye. So, you heard my conversation. I just want to replace this little latch over here, and actually not even the latch, the catch. This part here, which is what is broken, and my door doesn't actually shut properly unless I lift it, and I do that. Whereas actually here, this one here is a dream, because it closes without any problem whatsoever.
We barely use that one.
We barely use that one. However, I have already fixed this one before, so I know what is wrong with it, and I just wanted to inquire what the cost to get an engineer out and replace this little part would be. I've got absolutely no intention, by the way, of getting an engineer here, but I knew that it was going to be absolutely over the top, and it is, because actually they are saying to me just over £200 to have this repaired, £180 of which is labour, or the call-out charge, and then, but no surprise, why don't you have it serviced and we can charge you another £50?
Yes, actually, all right, they're going to replace bits and bobs that actually don't need replacing, really, aren't they? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to now put this apart. Well, in a little while, maybe today or tomorrow, I will be removing the door, and I'll show you how simple it is to do this. It's not complicated at all, and within half an hour I will have this fixed. The reason why I'm videoing it is because unfortunately this is the society we live in, the throwaway society, where it's so easy to just call an engineer out, and that inflate prices for everything. And I just wanted to really show you how easy this is if you've got something similar wrong at your house. So I'll see you in a little while, or maybe tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. Not disrespect to the gentleman on the telephone, who actually I thought it was helpful and polite, but I find interesting about these conversations is the psychology, where all of a sudden you're made to believe that you're getting a bargain because you are getting a service, and actually the repair is included in the service, forgetting the fact that you're about to depart from £255. I think that is quite interesting. So let's move on to the repair next, and I'll show you what I mean. So this couple of little rollers here, I'll point them with my screwdrivers, they turn, and when you close the door, there is a little latch here. I'll gently move the camera so that you can see over here. Can you see this little pin? Actually, no latch. The latch is what is on the door, and this is shaped in a way that has got an indentation over here, and when it's in between the two little rollers, the door shuts. But the rollers, they've got a little rod connecting them to the main structure, and that little rod is likely to be bent or broken, so I need to remove this little panel, not the door, and then I'll show you what I mean. And as I said, I will not be removing the door, just the panel covering the door, the aesthetic part, and it's secured by 4 screws, 2 on this side and then 2 on the other side. So I'll just undo those and I'll come off there so easily. And I've now moved on to the other side of the door, so this is screw number 1, and this is my 4th and final screw. And as just mentioned, the cover will come off just like this. And now I've got full visibility of the broken part. Can you see this little rod over here? This is a nail that I put in when this roller broke. So I actually fixed this also before, and you can see that I've already had a go before. So the likelihood is that the little rod that is on the roller on the top is now broken. So to remove this is very simple. I'll go from the other side. I'll change my little screwdriver bit, and there are a couple of little bolts, and I'll just unscrew them. That's number 1, and here is number 2. And I'll show you now from this angle so that you can see better, but I will move into the sound lounge where there is a better lighting. But here you can see immediately, see there is a little rod over here, but if I go to the other side, there is nothing in there. That's because it's broken. But my little repair with my little nail is still there. Anyway, let me just take you where there is a little bit lighting, better lighting, and I'll show you. And here I am back in my lounge where there is better lighting. You will have noticed that the screws used to secure the door, they're not like the normal Phillips screws that you expect to find in many appliances. This is not incidental, by the way, and often manufacturers will use different type of screws depending on what is that they are assembling. But there is a little catch, and I'll talk about that in a little while. So let's just talk about the standard Phillips screws that you find in most appliances, and they are very easy for manufacturers to use those because they are fast in a machine assembly, and they're designed to slip when you over tighten them. So they're the most common one to use. Whereas these type of screws are a little bit stronger, they're neater, and they're used when actually you want to apply more force. but you need a different tool, an Allen key, to be able to remove them. And then we have these so-called security screws, and those are the more difficult to take out, and often they've got a little pin in the middle, and that is done on purpose by manufacturers because they want to discourage you from opening appliances, maybe like a microwave or an hairdryer, where it's deemed to be more dangerous. And you would need a different type of tool, something like this, where if you look at this camera over here, you can see there is a little hole in the middle of my X key tool remover, and that is what you would need to do it. Clearly there are different reasons why manufacturers do that, but also there is a psychological factor. If you think about my oven door, there is no reason whatsoever why this screw should have been used, because actually it's just cosmetics. But a standard person who might have an incline to overlook what is wrong with the oven door, the moment they face a screw like this, they're discouraged and they think, actually this is not going to be for me because I don't have the tool. And that's all it needs sometimes, for somebody not to even have a look. So just think about it, and to buy a different type of toolkit to remove these screws is that simple. I've got different types, different sizes. I've got Allen keys here, I've got the X keys, I've got these ones here, and they all cost less than £10 for the set. Also here, if you want, you can buy sometimes something like this, which I use all the time. It's full of drill bits and all sorts of screws and attachments, including the X keys and the Allen keys and so on. So actually it's not difficult. So just something to remember next time you are trying to open something to see how it works, and if you want to fix it, don't just stop because the screw looks different. But back to my little latch. So here is the issue. You can see that I've already repaired this, and I put a little nail before, as I've shown you earlier, and now is the other roller, which is actually still as it was made by the manufacturer. So can you see there's a little pin over here that needs to be removed? So that is what I'll do next. So to remove this little pin from the little casing, I'm placing my screwdriver over here between the two rollers so that I can see clearly, and then I'll go in with my pliers and I'll get hold of it and I'll pull it out. There it is. A little bit of strength, but it comes out. And if we start it, you can see that actually looks like the little end here is broken, so that's why it's no longer inside the roller altogether. And the fix is very simple really. All I need to do now is to ensure that I've got a nail. This is a masonry nail, by the way, one that don't bend when you place it on the wall, and to make sure that it fits inside the little hole over here, and then I think I'm good to go. And if you look, it's a perfect fit, so I think I can place the roll back in. I'm going to find the hole on the metal little bar and push it through the roller like this, and I'll go to the other side just like this and push it through. And the job is done, as simple as that. So just replacing this little rod over here with a very strong nail, and it's back in perfect working order. So let's go and put it back on the door and see if it works. And of course, if you're doing this yourself, there is the added benefit that your wife or your partner
Or you.
or me decide to take it a step further and clean the door. Julie decided that it's a good idea to now do a good cleaning of the door while it's off. So that's an added bonus.
Well, I was thinking about this bit.
Yeah, you can do the
The
inside.
inside of the glass. It doesn't actually look too bad at all.
Something normally you're not able to reach, obviously, because it's screwed in. And I don't know how it's possible, but dust seems to be going in here also.
I don't
Look,
think that's dirty, no.
it's dust.
Not much.
Yeah.
This is actually what I've been cleaning my windows with, so it has got glass cleaner on.
Yeah, but again, great opportunity to give it a clean.
Yeah.
Gonna wipe it with a dry cloth.
No, this is like semi-dry. I've been using this to buff up the windows, so it's got some cleaner on it.
Okay.
It's just brought them up nicely.
Now that we have cleaned all up, we can work in complete reverse. So the little part goes here, and I'll place the end of the nails against the fiberglass. Just, I don't know why, but I feel that it's a better solution. And I'll secure it back. And I'll place it back in my little screwdriver bit, and I'll secure them. Tight enough for them not to come off. I'll do a little test without the door first to make sure that it's properly aligned. Any closest? without having to lift it, so it should work with the casing on. And once again, total reverse, so the door goes on. I find that actually closing the door helps because I get these properly aligned, and I'll put them in with my hands first. And I find that whenever I do things like this, I always start with the little screw drill bit out so that it's easier, and then I'll put the screwdriver in and I'll finish it off. And on this side, I've decided to use an Allen key just to show you that you can use any tool. And often these actually, they come free when you buy flat packaged sort of furniture. So you might have them at home without having to buy them. Okay, so that's done. Let's try and see what it's like. Wow. Job is a good one.
Yeah, that's a good job, well done.
So, it took me, about 10 minutes to do the repair. It took me longer to set up the lighting and the cameras and everything else than actually doing the job itself. I could have done it in 10 to 15 minutes, but half an hour altogether. So this video is not about how to fix the cooker or how to fix the door in the cooker. It's about actually sometimes step back, think, and do not necessarily jump on the easiest solution, because I've saved £255 if I wanted it serviced, or did you say £205 or something similar?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, if the engineer was to come out and fix the door. I personally think it's, I won't use the word disgusting. I'm not going to say disgusting, but I think it's outrageous that people pay that sort of money for something so simple, and it's just the way the world is. So hopefully this video will have helped you a little, and there is no danger, there is no real risk. This is something that you can do at home, and if it doesn't work, then you can call an engineer, but have a go. Thank you for watching, hopefully it was helpful, and arrivederci, ciao ciao.
Just a little PS, don't do what I do, which is went to think with our old oven, thought I could clean the glass, and I dropped it, nearly chopped my foot off and smashed the glass all over the place. So don't do that. Don't be
that,
me.
no. Don't be
Francesco,
Julie.
don't be Julie.
Yeah, be careful.
Another one bites the dust.